Hello, hello, hello. Good evening. Welcome to episode 159. I am KG Kris Gardner of the Houston Roundball Review. And she is, of course, KP Kennetra Pulliams. How are you doing, ma'am?
I'm good, Kris. Thanks for asking.
The show is streaming live on the Houston Roundball Review YouTube channel, as well as on Facebook, Houston Roundball Review, and my personal page. I was trying to get it to stream on Twitch, and it looks like I have to do something else because, oh no, it says the session is going, but I don't see anybody on the screen. So I'll figure that out. But it does say that I'm still offline, which I don't know how I'm doing that. But anyway, ultimately, this show will be streaming live on Twitch as another destination for Folks Talking Sports, maybe even Let's Rage Cougs and et cetera, the other shows that are on the Houston Roundball Review platform. Good evening to Wanda Polk, the queen of supporting the Houston Roundball Review. Thank you for your support as always. Mr. Willie Gibson is on the road coming back from the Cleveland Browns come from behind victory over the Green Bay Packers. We got our timing starts. We weren't on the same page, so that's why you don't see him with us right now. But we'll make it do what it do. Kennetra, I'm going to rely on you and your Big 12 knowledge and expertise. Let's get into this, if I can do this quickly. It's an interesting weekend in Big 12 action. Well, let's go ahead and do this before I put it up on the screen. Because really the topic of today's show is Mike Gundy at Oklahoma State, and his time will be up. It's just a question of when. So I'm going ahead and put it out there. That's going to be the discussion point, really, for the majority of today's show. KP, they lost to Tulsa. They lost to Tulsa at home in Stillwater. 1912, first time Tulsa won in Stillwater since 1951. I mean, you know what? I'm bouncing around, but just give me your thoughts on that because I have some slides I want to play as well from I think Brandon Marcello from CBS Sports. Some snippets, a lot of snippets from his article, but just your thoughts on that right there.
Yeah, it's just been it's a roller coaster that is just that has no brakes.
That's a good way of putting it. Brother Gibson, how are you doing?
What's good? What's good?
Oh my goodness. We're talking about Mike Gundy in Oklahoma State, sir.
The man, he's 58 now.
He's 40. He's a man.
He's 58 now.
He's 58 now. They got the mullet, right? The lady still have the mullet?
In dog years.
Yeah,
Willie, they lost at home to Tulsa.
I saw that.
1912. First time Tulsa won in Stillwater since 1951. We weren't even around in 1951. It was a lot of years before we were even around.
Neither was Gundy.
Neither was Gundy. 1912. Okay, when you saw it, Mr. Gibson, what was your initial reaction?
It lost to Tulsa. I saw them lose to Oregon 69-3 earlier this season, so I knew, this is not a good Oklahoma State team, and it's getting late early in Stillwater. I mean, Mike Gundy, he's a legend, in those parts, but everybody it comes a time for everyone, and I think it's coming up for him.
And before I get into the article in CBS Sports, Gundy's buyout is $15 million.
Oh, easy.
15. So it's now between now and 27. It doesn't change. It's $15 million.
Dabo's is 60 in Clemson. That's a whole nother story. So.
Well, no, it's not. Not another show. We're going to talk about that too.
Yeah, 15. Pocket change.
It used to be pocket change at Oklahoma State. It's no longer.
T-Boone is no longer with them. I got it.
Because if T. Boone Pickens were around, I'm not sure it would have gotten this bad.
Yeah.
Because it's gotten bad in 2 years. They have not beaten an FBS opponent in 11 straight. They lost 11 straight games to FBS teams. They lost to Tulsa. And Tulsa was the better team. Let me say that again. Tulsa was the better team than Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State is, without a doubt, the worst team in the Big 12.
Wow.
There might be some discussion for them to be the worst team in Division I college football. But among the Power Four, they probably are the worst.
Okay.
I mean, the fall has been so quick, but let's get into it. And I'm going to take a few minutes to read a lot of stuff, a lot of info from an article.
Mm-hmm.
This is from Brandon Marcello, CBS Sports. The first part right here, the result Friday night was really 5 years in the making. It was Gundy, not Oklahoma State, who avoided the transfer portal for nearly 5 seasons. It was Gundy who kept loyal aides on his staff far too long. It was Gundy who didn't wise up to NIL and the power of money on the recruiting trail until the bank vault closed. So here Oklahoma State stands on the precipice of the future, afraid to step into the unknown because of the program's loyalty to a man who has accomplished feats no coach has and may never again reached in Stillwater. So that right there, just your initial thoughts on that, because I got 4 more of these to go from Brandon Marcello. But go ahead. That's what you think.
I mean, it's just that he's a legend. And the program's loyalty to him, but to say no coach may never again reach those accomplishments, I mean, it's a broad paintbrush.
But when you consider they've had 18 winning seasons in his tenure there. Mm-hmm. Before he was there, they had 18 winning seasons total in the history of the program. So,
but we just said times have changed. So with the right NIL checkbook, I mean, that can happen like that. So,
but I mean, there's again T. Boone Pickens. I'm not sure his family, the money, the state. That spigot seems to have been turned off.
Yeah, I'm sure he's not the only one. I mean, who would have thought Texas Tech would have had the benefactor they've had?
Agreed. So, Cody Campbell. Oklahoma State needs a Cody Campbell.
Yeah, so I mean, yeah.
But I don't know who that's going to be. They need somebody because if that person does exist, he or she has not stepped up, or maybe has not been asked to step up and to save the program for losses to Tulsa, home losses to Tulsa.
I mean, how about you reach out to Barry Sanders for help?
No.
And that name hasn't been mentioned at all. So I wonder what that indicates. If they've turned him off, Thurman Thomas from this area, Willow Ridge High School. One of my first high school games I saw growing up was a Willow Ridge game featuring Thurman Thomas. But back to the article. A coach in his 21st season shouldn't be caught empty-handed in the offseason, scouring the country for scraps in the transfer portal. The fact is, no matter how you sell it, this Cowboys roster was cobbled together from a box of outcasts and small school stars. No coach as experienced as Gundy should publicly admit that last January was the first time he used NIL money to lure transfers to campus. Admire the man for telling the truth, shouldering the burden for ignoring the portal's importance in previous years when he spread a shallow pool of NIL money, $7 million, he said, among players currently on the roster. rather than soliciting newcomers he could later develop into Oklahoma State's new crop of superstars. The rebuilding project is too little, too late. And that's the problem. It doesn't matter if college athletics' future looks so different. Gundy has held tightly onto the job the last 5 years, avoiding pot shots and angry boosters long enough to remain at the top and finish season strong, including wins against Oklahoma the last 2 times the Sooners came to Stillwater. But rather than be fired by an angry board of regents in December, he sought another lifeline. He renegotiated his near untouchable contract, lowering a $25 million buyout and giving up $1 million in annual salary to help offset a small percentage of revenue sharing payments to players. His automatic rollover clause was also eliminated. It wasn't the first time Gundy had to fight behind the scenes for his livelihood, but it might be the last. The restructured deal last winter came 5 years after he agreed to $1 million reduction following an internal review of the program. This is bad. Gundy's buyout is $15 million and remains unchanged for another 3 seasons. It doesn't matter if OSU makes its move today or in November 2026. The cost is the same, but the program's stock may continue to sink. The ship be sinking. Not even Oklahoma State's in-house radio broadcast could hold back their disdain at halftime. Quote, "You can't put a Band-Aid on this and make it look any better. It's the worst sore we've seen in a long time on Oklahoma State football. This is about as bad a beatdown as I've seen in a long, long time for Oklahoma State football. I thought we hit rock bottom at Colorado, and that was a 52-zip loss in the season finale in 2024. This is even worse," end quote. That's from the in-house people calling the games for Oklahoma State. Losing to Tulsa, they got beat down by Tulsa. Tulsa, who's at a first-year head coach at Tulsa. It's bad. And this sums it up. And he's winning as coach in Oklahoma State Cowboys history. What should they do with him? Should they fire him now? Should they announce he's going to retire at the end of the season? What do you think they should do?
I mean, it's wild because they just gave him his accolades, 18 winning seasons, and they haven't had 18 in the previous years of the program, and then say this is the worst sore in a long, long time. Well, which one? I mean, both can be true, but I think if they let him stay around this long, they're going to give him his flowers and give him the opportunity to step aside. They're not going to fire him. They're not going to fire him. Because if
In season?
they haven't done it to this point, what changes?
So you don't believe? I don't think they're going to fire him in season, but do you think he'll retire at the end of the season?
They'll give him a nice little send off, and they can't fire. You just told me how great he was in 18 winning seasons. They're going to fire that. I think they give him an opportunity to step away on his own. Now, give him the opportunity to. Will his pride allow him to? Is the question.
Kennetra, what do you think? What do you think they should do, and then what do you think will be done? Uh-oh, she's frozen there. I wonder why it didn't like she hadn't moved. KP? We're having issues with KP in her nice digital office. But, okay, Brother Gibson, we'll work on getting Kennetra back.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to shift gears. I'm not sure. Kennetra, you there? She's, let's see. Get a reply here. She said she lost us. I want to get your thoughts on a Buckeye.
Yep.
In women's hoops.
Kelsey Mitchell.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
So let's do that. 34 points today.
Yep.
It's tied for the most in franchise history for the Fever.
Mm-hmm.
They thumped the Aces.
Yep.
89-73, game one of their semifinal series in Las Vegas. Earlier in the day, A'ja Wilson received her record-setting fourth WNBA Most Valuable Player award.
Mm-hmm.
Just what are your thoughts on what Kelsey Mitchell is doing? Because the Fever are without Caitlin Clark. They're without Sydney Colson. They're without Sophie Cunningham. They're without Chloe Bibb. So Kelsey Mitchell is why they're doing this. But just what KP's back now. So what are your thoughts? Who wants it first?
Yeah, I mean it's remarkable that they are better than the sum of their parts. Everyone, you hear the cliche of next man up. They've clearly proven that they have depth and they have grit.
Will?
Yeah, I mean she had to sit there and some would say watch somebody else get her trophy. And so she came out and to quote Roy Jones Jr. told them they must have forgot. They must have forgot because, I mean, she put on the show, and in some circles, feel she should have been named the MVP. And so she just gave a gentle reminder that I'm still here.
I have tremendous respect for Kelsey Mitchell's game. I don't know. Those folks would have to present their case to me to say why they believe Kelsey Mitchell should have been MVP this year over A'ja Wilson or Nafisa Collier.
I would say this: 13, 20-point games in the second half of the season after Caitlin Clark went out. She put that team on her back. That team is in the semifinals of the WNBA because of her. Now, I'm not saying I agree with them. I'm saying make the case. I would say those things.
Well, A'ja Wilson had a hell of a year and helped them win 16 straight games in the season. And
when was the voting deadline?
So since they surprisingly announced it today on a Sunday, which is kind of strange, probably the end of the regular season. Probably. I'm no longer, I think I might be wrong on this, but very early in the WNBA's existence, I think I voted on some of the awards long time ago. That's no longer the case, but why do you ask? What point are you going to make on that?
No, I was just wondering, because I always wonder about when it comes to individual awards, like when is the deadline of voting, MVP or, whatever it is. Just, people may not look at the total body of work. They may look at the most recent. So as the Aces, even though they struggled early, how did they close the season? And so that, might have influenced the voting.
Now, some folks could say A'ja Wilson put up good / great numbers in the first part of the season, the first 22 games, but the Aces were 11-11. The reason they won 16 in a row was because she got help from her teammates. Her numbers did improve toward the second half of the season, but some folks, maybe the Kelsey Mitchell supporters, say, yeah, but they started winning games because other Aces players started playing better. Kelsey had to carry the Fever, what's left of them, and Leah Boston too. Let's not forget her, of course, down the stretch. And this is like the third straight win for the Fever over the Aces. Could be a bad matchup for Las Vegas, honestly, because they were. I glanced at the game. I was trying to get ready for the show and going back and forth on TV and stuff, watching other stuff on TV. Las Vegas was trying to double team Aaliyah Boston in the post, and somehow Kelsey Mitchell always ended up being the wide open person on the perimeter when the ball was kicked out from the post. Will, KP, I'm not leaving Kelsey Mitchell open for anything. I don't care if you were double team Aaliyah Boston. There are other players on the Fever. I'm going to help off of them. I'm not leaving Kelsey Mitchell for anything. So I don't know what their defense. I would love to hear what Becky Hammond said post game, because she's very candid and blunt in her assessment after games, especially after her team loses and the defense got carved up like it did today by the Fever. But the defensive game plan, I don't know what it was, because it sure didn't work. And just, well, how old is Kelsey Mitchell? When was she at Ohio State? Ohio State.
She's been in the league 6 years. Give me a second. I think this is her 6th year in the league.
So, salute to her performance. She gave credit to head coach Stephanie White after it was announced that Kelsey was named to the WNBA first team. Well deserved for Coach White's support, belief in her, and helping her excel and maximize her skill set this season, and instilling more confidence in her to really carry this team down the stretch and help them get in the playoffs. Go ahead, Will.
Yeah, I'm off. It was 8. She's 8. This is year 8.
Year 8. Wow, it's been that long?
Yeah.
Wow. But salute to her. So surprise to some folks that Indiana's now 1-0 in their series against the Las Vegas Aces. The 6th seed Indiana Fever lead the 2 seed Las Vegas Aces 1-0 in their semifinal series. The top overall seed Minnesota Lynx did what they had to do, came from behind and pulled away and beat the 4 seed Phoenix Mercury 82-69 in the second game of today's semifinal action in WNBA playoffs. So they're up 1-0 in their series. Phoenix, New York was a hell of a first round series. Some would say that should have been a semifinal series, but it was a first round series. New York lost. The reigning champs got eliminated. The 5th seed is out. I'm kind of curious what direction they're going to go. The Seattle Storm fired. Did they say fire or decided not to renew the contract of?
Yeah, she doesn't
Noelle
have a
Quinn
contract for the 2026 season. Yeah.
She will not return as head coach.
Yeah.
So Noelle Quinn, who I think I read in the article, was the only African American female head coach in the WNBA. Is that right? I read that and I kind of like, really? But so
wasn't there looking situations with Jewel Lloyd and why she left and investigations and things of that nature?
She was part of the, Jewel Lloyd made some accusations. I think the league and the Storm organization did not find enough to corroborate what Jewel Lloyd stated happened. I was surprised. I thought Noelle was done then.
And Lexi Brown made some statements on her availability today. I'm not sure if you had a chance to see that, but
I haven't. No.
Yeah, when you get a moment, take a look. It's very, very interesting.
In which way did she lean?
Basically, her point was, I was healthy. I just want to let people know that I am healthy. Let's just leave that. She made it a point.
Understood. I'll check. I'll take a look at that.
Yeah.
Okay. Brother Gibson touched on a little bit, very briefly, regarding when he said $60 million buyout. Clemson Tigers are now 1-3.
Mm-hmm.
And weren't they one of the favorites to get to the CFP title game, something like that, by some folks?
In some people's eyes.
And that kind of surprised me, but does not look likely now. KP and Will.
Mm.
What do you say, Will? I heard AD said too. It's getting late early.
It's getting late early.
Mm-hmm. But Clemson's not going to get rid of him for $60 million.
And for those that say, "Oh, it's 60 this year," they'll wait till next year. Well, next year it does drop to 57. So, yeah.
Salute to his agent.
Without question.
So, but and his rants.
Go ahead.
I don't. What is he trying to do? I mean, he's
trying to get them to pay the buyout. That's what it is.
Well, yeah. If y'all think y'all get somebody better, fire me.
Yep.
I can go somewhere else and get a job. I'm 50 whatever. I'm young. I can go somewhere else and win.
Yep. That's what it was.
All right, Dabo. He's a different kind of dude.
Yeah. Someone said yesterday that it'd be very interesting to see Fran Brown on the Clemson sideline next year. Now, the irony in that is Fran Brown is now currently the Syracuse head coach who beat Clemson yesterday. So I was kind of like, okay. Fran Brown, who also has some comments on, I don't mean to be dropping stuff, but on coaches poaching his players. He stood on business 10 toes down with his comments. And I won't say them here, but he said some things just to let everybody know I'm not the one.
It's not family friendly.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah. He let everybody know.
I'll go check that out too.
There's a reason why he made his players run after a win.
Mm-hmm.
It's all about accountability.
Yeah.
Accountability. There's that word again. Some folks live by that word. Some folks skirt around that word. Some folks just completely ignore that word like it doesn't even exist. But Clemson, you 1-3. Miami Hurricanes are undefeated, they're ranked second. Florida State, I think, they're undefeated as well. Dropped the spot in the poll, even though they won by 56. Of course, it was Kent.
Who's number one?
It was Kent State in that whatever.
The poll.
The Ohio State is number one.
Got it.
They're playing. Who are they playing? Washington.
Washington this week at Washington.
And Washington coming off a win in the Apple Cup.
Mm-hmm.
Most points scored in the Apple Cup over Washington State. Dabo's modern day Bob Stoops, according to C837.
So it's interesting that Clemson has a bye this week, but out of the bye, they go to North Carolina. So 1-3 Clemson at the Bill Belichick's. So that'll be interesting.
Have the Belichick's won a game?
They won one.
They won in two?
They beat Charlotte.
Because they got thumped by UCF.
Yep. And
Speaking of
season opener.
Yeah, let me see if I can bring this up. Take this off. Because I just want to touch on the other scores in the Big 12. So bear with me here. There we go. At first one, I just shake my head at that. Losing to Tulsa. C837, Oklahoma State lost at home to Tulsa. But I want to acknowledge Texas Tech. Texas Tech's win at Utah. I was impressed. Mm-hmm. Looks like money well spent. And let me say this. I was impressed by the defense. Utah's offense kind of does give me pause. I was like, wow. Of course, it would help if you would hold on to the ball. But, I mean, Tech put up points with backup quarterback in the second half. So, salute Texas Tech. is playing the best football in the Big 12. I think still Tech or Iowa State. But let me do this. CA 37, Miss Wanda. I hope. I'll get to that in a second. CA 37. I hope Coach Fritz and the team do not do what Cougar teams have done in the past and Coug it this Friday in Corvallis and lose to a team they're better than. Because if they do beat Oregon State, they'll be undefeated. Texas Tech is off this coming weekend. Next Saturday, October 4th, in H-Town, is a Houston Blue game. So that means they're going to be wearing the Houston Blue. Not, can't say Oiler Blue or whatever. Can't say all that. Houston Blue. But if the Cougs are undefeated, Tech is undefeated, that game might be on Fox. Big Fox at, Big Noon, 11 o'clock in Houston.
No kickoff? Nah. October 4th?
Or 2:30, whatever.
Oh, yeah.
Be back up. It could be on Fox. Just saying. It won't be on ABC or ESPN because that's going to be Miami and Florida State. Because that game, that matchup should be the first time those teams are ranked in the top 10 simultaneously in a long time. So, but, Will, who do the Buckeyes play on October 4th?
Minnesota's homecoming.
Yeah, who cares about that? Nobody cares about that.
Fox. Wait a minute.
No. Fox don't care about that.
That's why I'm looking it up now because I'm trying to see who the week Big Ten schedule that week. Let's see.
But let's get into this. We'll work from CA's question here. Luke Fickell getting booed, Will. Folks calling for his job.
They've been doing that. Oh, you might get it because the Big Ten October 4th. Yeah. Well, we'll find out tomorrow. Tomorrow about 1 o'clock Eastern, they'll drop game times for October 4th. So we'll know what the Big Ten kickoff game is at that time. But yeah, Luke's. I'm buyout guy today. I had a lot of time, and Luke's buyout is $25 million at Wisconsin. 3 years left on his deal. They own him 80% of the 31.6 that's left on the deal. So yeah, they're calling for him. But he got the, depending on how you look at it, the dreaded vote of confidence from the AD after losing to Maryland yesterday.
Yeah.
So we'll see. But,
usually that's the kiss of death. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see. But yeah, he's not like well in those parts. And it's the quarterback. He's had a lot of injuries at quarterback. He had some misses in the portal at quarterback, and it's just not working for him at the quarterback position since he's been there.
And you really cannot afford to miss in the portal at quarterback. You can't. You just can't. It sets you back. This is accurate.
Yes, Mike Gundy.
Shield Wood doing a great job at Tech. I mean, like I said, their defense, and I'll say this. There were times, a lot of times, Tech made Utah look slow. they made Utah's a ground and pound, physical. They couldn't keep up with Tech. What does lead me, I kind of do agree with this comment from Dizzy Busy here. It's going to be a lot of Houston Blue in the stadium. I love my alma mater. But when it comes down to picking who's going to win that game between the Cougs and Tech, I go with my brain. I'm picking Tech.
Mm-hmm.
I go with my heart. Hell, even if I go with my heart, I might still pick Tech. Because I just, we'll see. I still have some questions, concerns about the Cougs, especially offensive line and their health and everything like that. But we'll see. But first things first, win this Friday, 9:30 Central Time kickoff on ESPN. Yes, we're going to do Let's Rage Cougs after that game. So to be Let's Rage Cougs After Dark around 12:30 or 1 o'clock in the morning. But join me and Andy and Dayon and Bryce Bell as we discuss what should be a Cougs victory, and then look ahead to Texas Tech on October 4th, that Houston Blue matchup. Brother Gibson, I want to go backwards now,
Mm-hmm.
and this really is it's a segment that's part of the show.
Yep.
Well,
Yep.
how about them Browns? Well,
Yeah, listen, I sat there and I was contemplating what I was going to say. What about 10 minutes left in the game? And really, I was prepared to talk about pregame entertainment, which was Bone Crusher today.
oh,
Yeah, Bone
wow.
Crusher was the pregame entertainment and I need to make field today. So I was ready to come with that. And
Because at that point it was 10-0, right?
at that point, it was 10-0. It had been 10-0 for a while
Mm-hmm.
and had shown no signs of changing at that point. But the last 3 minutes and 38 seconds, they got it together, and 13 points in the last 3:38 to pull out a win, 13-10 over the Green Bay Packers.
So how did how did this come about?
What's that?
13 points because they scored on 3 different possessions, right?
Yeah, there was a touchdown. Well, they had first and goal on the 1. Quinshon Judkins, rookie second round running back out of Ohio State, had a 38-yard run, and second game he's been there. He had some off the field issues that had been cleared up, so he came back and still has some rust. He missed a blitzing linebacker on a pass pro and sat out for a while, but he came back, and once he got the ball in his hands, he was producing, and he got down to the 1-yard line, and there was a chop block that took them back to the 16-yard line. And then the subsequent play was a swing pass to Jerome Ford that lost 5 yards. So it went from first and goal on the 1 to Andre Smith kicking a 38-yard field goal to make it 10-3. And then they got the ball back. They did drive, and Quinshon Judkins scored his first career touchdown, so it was 10-10. And so Green Bay's running 2-minute offense, gets down. There was a questionable call that Josh Jacobs punch out. He fumbled the ball, and they said he recovered it, but some feel that the Browns recovered it, but the eye in the sky gave it back to the Packers. And they went to kick a game-winning field goal, and it was blocked. So down the Browns have the ball, and no timeouts at this point, less than a minute to go. And they got down, and Andre Smith, who missed an extra point and a field goal in week 1 at home, and again, they lost 17-16, kicked a 55-yard field goal at the buzzer. And they won 13-10.
So it sounded like the defense came through again.
The defense came through again. The offense leaves a lot to be desired. And Joe Flacco, again, there's calls for Dylan Gabriel. There's always calls for Shedeur Sanders. And, we'll see. They're 1-2. Honestly, should be 2-1. And they go to Detroit. They go to Detroit next week to face the Lions before going to London and playing the Vikings.
What has been the best feature of this Browns team so far?
Oh, it's the defense. It's the defense without question. Jim Schwartz and his defense. I mean, Myles Garrett has help on the defensive line. Again, Mason Graham. I feel bad at times because he is a top 5 pick. He was the 5th overall pick of the draft, but you never hear his name ever. You hear Quinshon Judkins. You hear Shedeur Sanders. You hear Carson Swessinger, the linebacker, the 2nd-round pick from UCLA. You never hear about Mason Graham, but all he does is his job. I mean, he's a defensive tackle, had his first NFL sack, or a half sack today, and he's making life so much easier for Myles Garrett on that defensive line. And so, yeah, it will be him, and it will be the defense for sure.
But I mean, is that a byproduct of the position? I mean, because typically, you have your skill positions and then you have your linemen.
Hmm. No, because Abdul Carter in New York is being talked about a lot. So I think it's just he was drafted to a team that drafted Shador Sanders. That's any other time. No, I mean Miles Garrett's the #1 overall pick. He got talked about. I think it's who he was, who's in this draft class, who's in this draft class. So and who he was traded for, because they traded down from 2 to 5, and at 2 with the pick they traded with Cleveland for, Jacksonville took Travis Hunter. So it's a combination of could have had Travis Hunter, but we picked this guy, and they also picked Shador Sanders.
All right, I just looked at the scores. The Bears won.
Yep, 31-14.
How?
I think it's 4 touchdowns. I know we had 3 at one point. 3 Caleb Williams touchdown passes. I think CD Lamb got hurt in the first half.
Ankle.
Yeah.
The Cowboys. I mean, the Cowboys' offense usually is pretty good, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Once CD went out, from what I understand, that pretty much was it.
And of course, folks in Houston know that the Houston Texans are now 0-3 after their 17-10 road loss at Jacksonville. If you missed it, I encourage you to watch the Ad Max Corner. A.D. Moore and Elwin Henderson discussed that loss. And A.D. said at the start of the show, he sounded like Brother Gibson. It's getting late early for the Texans. So, all right. Well, wrapping it up. Tomorrow, if you are a member of the Houston Roundball Review YouTube section, you already know this. If you're not, I encourage you to do so. But the Big 12 is going to announce the conference schedules for women's basketball tomorrow. And they will announce the conference schedules for men's basketball on Tuesday. So look forward to that. And I think practice starts for most everyone on Wednesday, the 24th. So basketball season is here, or closer. I submitted my application request for the Big 12 Kennetra basketball tip-off in Kansas City. So making plans to be there in October, third week in October for that. So thank you, KP. Anything changed, Queen? No? Brother Gibson, you ready?
Yes, sir.
The floor is yours, sir.
Appreciate the opportunity as always. Social media, you can find me as the Carl states on Twitter at WillGibson7, on IG and Threads at Will Knows Sports, and on Facebook at Will Knows.
And Folks Talkin Sports, like I said, I have to figure out what I did not do correctly. I try to get it to live stream on Twitch, and I just see a black screen. So I don't know what's going on there. So I'll work on it. But the clock is rolling. So something's not right there on Twitch. But this edition of Folks Talkin Sports, episode 159, streaming on the Houston Roundball Review YouTube channel. And ultimately, we'll be on the brand new Houston Roundball Review Twitch channel, as well as Houston Roundball Review on Facebook. Thank you again to KP Kennetra Pulliams, Willy Gibson. Appreciate all of y'all for joining the conversation, participating in the conversation. We're going to try to do it again next week. And everyone, you know it. If you don't know it, if you're new to it, this is for you. Since 1994, the Houston Roundball Review. Local name, global perspective. Everyone, take care. Peace.